Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. APW Sports signing in, and today we're gonna do mock draft 2.0 of the first round of this year's draft, and I'm gonna do things a little bit differently than what I did them in the first mock draft, and we'll get to that when we get to that. But before I get into anything, make sure you guys stay tuned for Thursday night, April 23rd, which is the first round of the draft. I will be live streaming on this channel, Twitch, and other platforms as well. 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I will be streaming the entire first round live, which you get my reactions to trade, get to ask some questions, reactions to surprise picks. All that will be on the live stream of the first round of the NFL draft. But with this video, make sure you leave it a like, subscribe, comment, share, all of that good stuff. But let's just get right into it. Today's video is being brought to you by SeatGeek. Yes, football season is over, but you still have the NBA season. You still have baseball right around the corner, concerts, comedy shows. SeatGeek is your place to get your tickets. Now, let's just say I want to go to an upcoming Chicago Bulls game, me being from Chicago, and I'm going to go to that Bulls game. I'm going to select 2 tickets, and the green means good seats and good deals. The red means bad deals, and the tickets are graded on a scale of 1 through 10. And if you want to get your tickets to go to anything today, and make sure you click the link in the description and use code APW Sports for 10% at checkout. Once again, click the link in the description to save yourself 10% at checkout with SeatGeek. Now, let's get back to the video. All right, so we're gonna do the first round, of course, but this time going around, I'm going to do the PFSN model of players, of rankings of players. Last time we did the ESPN rankings of models of players, and we're gonna select all teams. We're gonna do one round of this draft. So let's just get right into it. As we already know, there's obvious. The first pick is going to be Fernando Mendoza to the Las Vegas Raiders. Next, we have the New York Jets. Now, the New York Jets can go a ton of ways. They can go trade back for this pick. They could get edge rush. They can get some wide receiver help, but I think they get the best available edge on the board, and that will be Arvell Reese from The Ohio State University. And we have pick number 3 for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, this could be the most interesting. Could this be where Ty Simpson goes if the Cardinals fall in love with him? Maybe, but I don't think they draft him this high. Could they go somewhere like a running back? Yes, but I don't think you draft for Jeremiah Love this high at 3. I just don't personally think you do so. I think their next option is to get an edge rusher, and this is where I think they will actually pick Ruben Bain from the U. Next is the Tennessee Titans. Now, the Titans can go different ways. They can go Carnell Tate, they can go David Bailey, they can go Sonny Styles, they can even go Jeremiah's Love, but this is a pick where I could see them going wide receiver or edge rusher. I think they probably get them a number 1 type of wide receiver. I could possibly do so. They can possibly select Carnell Tate from The Ohio State University. Next is the New York Giants. I think this is a scenario where they could possibly get a Sonny Styles. I think since Carnell Tate is off the board, they will probably was looking to go that route. But I think in this scenario with the New York Giants, what they can use in their defense, and now with the possible trade of Dexter Lawrence, I think they go Sonny Styles to help with the linebacker position that can really use some help on their defense. Next is the Cleveland Browns. Could they go running back? I don't think so. Could they go wide receiver here? Possibly. But this is where I think you boost your offensive line if you're the Browns. The Browns are a team that has 2 first-round picks. They have some needs to address. But I think this is a scenario where you take Kayla Lamu, you boost your offensive line for whatever quarterback that you have. Now that Carnell Tate is off the board, and I don't think there's a receiver at this point that they would draft at that point, I think you get Kayla Lamu to help with your offensive line. Next is the Washington Commanders. I think they go safety here. They could go edge rush to help with their pass rush, but I think one of the weaknesses of this team is their safety spot, and I think they can use stronger play from there. They can use Jeremiah Love as well. But this is where I think Caleb Downs ends up off the board. I just believe that this Dan Quinn defense and how smart and how intelligent of a football player that Caleb Downs is, he can go here. The New Orleans Saints, they can go edge here, wide receiving help. I don't think they go running back, but I think they go edge here. Either replace Cam Jordan or have something the opposite side of him along with Chase Young. So I think they go David Bailey from Texas Tech. The Kansas City Chiefs, this is an interesting one. They can go receiver here like a Jordan Tyson. They can go with Kai Lemon here. I think they could go offensive line with the Francis Mayuga from the U. But I think with the possibility of a two-back system to kind of continue to boost their running game, add it to Kenneth Walker, this is a scenario where Jeremiah Love, even though with the signing of Kenneth Walker, can make a ton of sense. Now we're going to go to the Cincinnati Bengals, and they lead everything on that defensive side of the ball. And I think with this pick, I think you go Mansour Delane, very talented corner from LSU here. Then we're going to go to the Miami Dolphins. They can use a few things on their defense, but I think when you add a guy like a Malik Willis, you trade away Jalen Waddle, you're going to need wide receiving. This is where I possibly think either the Kai Lemon or Jordan Tyson is one of the wide receivers taking off the board. You can use Francis Mayuga here, but I think at this point you're going to go a Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State. Next is the Cowboys. They can use a lot of things, and corner is one of them. I think Jamal McCoy, the very talented corner from Tennessee, is going to be their pick here to boost their cornerback spot. I think with this team, they need a lot of defensive help on that back end, so Jamal McCoy is player that goes off the board. Now, this is a spot where they take the best tackle available. Rob Havenstein retired. You give Francis Mayuga to help with this football team with one of the best rosters that I think that this league has. And if he drops this low, you have to pick him if you are the Rams. Next, we got the Baltimore Ravens. They got defensive tackle issues. They got wide receiver issues. They have corner issues. I think with this, they can go a few ways. I think they address the interior of the offensive line here. I think you can go wide receiver here to help Zay Flowers out and help this offense out. But I think they end up taking guard Olivier Lyon out of Baltimore. But I will preface this, guys. I meant to preface this in the intro. I am not the biggest draft expert. This is for fun. But next is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think this could be a spot where you see a Keldrick Falk go to, as this team needs a ton of help when we're talking about their edge rush. I think that is a big deal for them. They can use some defensive tackle help, maybe a Peter Woods, maybe a Cade McDonald. But I think you got to address your defense here, and you got to go Keldrick Falk as your edge rusher. You have to address your edge rusher if you're the Buccaneers. So you won't have to use as much as those exotic blitzes that Todd Bowles likes to use, because you can get home with the pressure. So I think you have to get edge rush here. Now, the Jets are in a beautiful position to where they can take whoever they need. I don't think now, at my last mock, I had Ty Simpson going here. I don't think Ty Simpson goes here. I personally think Ty Simpson could be the pick. It could be the option. But I don't think this is a position where he ends up. This is where I think you use some wide receiving help. You know you can use a lot. And you get Makai Lemon here from USC to pair opposite of a guy like a Garrett Wilson to help Geno Smith and be the bridge that this team needs. Next is the the Detroit Lions, and I think you take Monroe Freeland here. I think this is not really much of a brainer. You take Monroe Freeland here because of the fact of you lost Taylor Decker this offseason. This offensive line took a step back, and then I think you need a boost to that. And with this team, even though they lost David Montgomery, you can still run the football effectively, be an effective offensive line if you take an offensive lineman here to continue to boost that. Next is the Minnesota Vikings. They have a couple of ways they can go here. They can go safety help, which I think this is the most possibility that they do. Because of the way that back end played last year, Harrison Smith is now at the door. So I think you go Dylan Thieneman and Tyler safety out of Oregon. Now, we're talking about the Panthers. And yes, they can use an offensive line help where Spencer Fernando is tremendous. Kenyon Sadiq, I think he's the type of talent at tight end that I don't think this Panthers team passes up on. Especially if dropping this late, I honestly think he's the receiving here that you really need in your Panthers offense, because you get another big-time target, big, strong target for Bryce Young to help him continue to go forward with Ted McMillan. Hopefully Xavier Legette takes another step. So I get you need offensive line help, but I think you take the tight end here. Next is the Dallas Cowboys. I think you go defense again here. And with their first pick, they drafted Jeremiah McCoy. And I think you get some edge rush help. And I think Akeem Mesidor is the pick for them. Get some pass rush help. You get your back end help when we're talking about Jeremiah McCoy for the Dallas Cowboys. So you get Akeem Mesidor here. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers are very interesting to see. They can go a different amount of ways. And I'm going to, for them, this might sound crazy, I think Ty Simpson should go here. Now, I'll probably do a video later this week about Ty Simpson, but I think the Pittsburgh Steelers should be a team that's looking for the future. I've said this during parts of the Mike Tomlin era, towards the back end of it, especially last year. This is a team that needs to rebuild. I don't think this going steady 500 type of football, especially with a little bit of an older roster, especially on defense. You did trade for Michael Pittman Jr., so that still gives you the point to win now. But this is a team that needs to start developing a quarterback at some point. Waiting on Aaron Rodgers, I don't think this should be it. Now, you can see what you have with Will Howard, because he didn't play much last year and he didn't play in the preseason during a thumb injury. If you want to develop a quarterback, and if Aaron Rodgers even decides to come back, or like if he does, it's the perfect scenario. You get Ty Simpson. Perfect scenario. Next is the Chargers. Now, the Chargers could use a few different things. They can use some help at that edge. They can use some help at guard. You can use some help at safety, but I think they take corner Avion Terrell, really talented corner out of Clemson, to help with the back end of their defense. I think you take a corner here. Now, the Eagles are an interesting spot. I think they take a wide receiver at some point. I really do, because I don't think A.J. Brown is making it to training camp as a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. So I am going to give Omar Cooper Jr. from Indiana. I think this is a way that you have to go if you are the Philadelphia Eagles, You gotta go with them there. Now, the Cleveland Browns, I think a lot of their things should go offense. They could use some help on that offensive line, which they've already addressed with their first pick. And now I think with their second pick, they're going to go KC Concepcion at wide receiver in a very talented wide receiver class. So you take the wide receiver you need here. Now, the Bears, I think all their picks should go defense. Now, with the Bears, with Peter Wood still on the board, K. McDonald still on the board, I think you have your pick of the defensive tackle situations, and I think you get Peter Woods at that defensive tackle spot. Despite my love for Caden McDonald and what he could do plugging against the run, I think Peter Woods just brings a little bit more than what Caden McDonald could, and that's why I'm going to go Peter Woods for the Bears. Now, the Bills, they can use edge rush help. They can use another wide receiver. They can use another safety. And I think what we're talking about this team, you can go linebacker here, which I think this is a route that they could go. C.J. Allen from the University of Georgia makes a lot of sense. Plug it at the linebacker spot. Matt Milano getting older. You need some linebacker help. You need help on your defense. So I think C.J. Allen will make sense. Now, this is a perfect pick. This is a perfect scenario for the San Francisco 49ers. Trent Williams is getting older. You still have Caden Proctor and Spencer Fano on the board. You get Spencer Fano, help boost your offensive line. Just in case Trick Williams decide to part ways, or Trick Williams' play starts to diminish, you have a guy like a Spencer Fano that is going to do tremendous wonders on your offensive line. Next is the Houston Texans. This is another position where I think they need to go offensive line. They could go defensive tackle with Caden McDonald to help boost the middle, and I think that's what they do. It seems like the way that the Texans are approaching this offseason, approaching it still towards getting their defense back. And K. McDonald here does make some sense to boost the interior of your defensive line. You got Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter on your edges. A little bit on the interior. I think they could go here. So I think that's what they do now. The Kansas City Chiefs, they can use some edge rush help. They can use some help at tackle, help boost a little bit of that offensive line. And I think they go Caden Proctor here. They got the running back of Jeremiah Love with their first pick. And I think you still boost your offense with Caden Proctor, even though I still think this defense could use some help. But I think protecting Patrick Mahomes is key. You got to protect them, and you got to boost your running game. So I think they address those two with their picks. The second pick for the Miami Dolphins, I think they can use offensive line. They can use some corner help. But with their first pick, they ended up drafting Tyson at wide receiver to help boost there. So at this point, I think when we're talking about them, they can use, like I said, offensive line help to keep Malik Willis protected. You're going to need some help on your back end. Maybe it's a little high, but I think Colton Hood from Tennessee could be the pick here. Now we're going to go to the New England Patriots. Wide receiver, I said that. I think this pick may be gone. Maybe this pick is gone. They need some safety help. And I think the guy is as talented as Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. Could do wonders here. But I think this is a team that goes and gets a wide receiver that they want. And I think they get Denzel Boston. And now we're going to the Seattle Seahawks. Now, this is a team, they have a lot of things that they could do as well. They have a lot that they could do. But I think they go trust their back end of the defense. With the corners gone, and I think you're still going to need some corners, you go Brandon Sissay out of South Carolina. So, that's my full mock draft 2.0. Like I said, I am not the biggest of draft experts. I just do this for fun. So, here's my draft 2.0. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.